GM guys.
Hi, hi.
G.
GM, how are you?
We're doing all right, I think. I mean, the market ain't easy, ain't obvious, that's for sure. But overall, life is good. What about
I
you guys?
I touched some grass last week, and I think it was very good decision regarding uh, my portfolio. So yeah, I think like next time I will probably like do whole vacations, holiday season like this.
Yeah, I've been touching some grass this weekend too, and I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, that was such a long pause.
Yeah, I mean, I was well, how to say it? I was doing wrestling, so I got a few times hit in my head when someone was throwing me in the air. Yeah, really good.
That's nice.
Yeah. What about you, Hundred? How are you?
Yeah, as I said, I'm doing well, guys. I mean, it's not like we met 3 hours before for a coffee, and we're
We
in
did.
constant touch. But yeah,
We did.
for our listeners, I'm doing all right. Yeah, I mean, let's maybe go through the market. I hope I
Yeah.
will be much better if we actually bounce from here. Um,
I'm not sure if we are going to. I think I have a slightly different opinion than you, but let's see. Give me a second. I need to start sharing my screen. Yeah. Mm, which is it? 1 second. Okay. Mm, I think you can. You should be able to see my screen now. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
yeah,
All right, so let's start with majors. Let me open my notes very quickly. So yeah, what time to be alive? Long story short, heavy flows out of treasuries into gold and into BTC. I haven't been expecting this in my bingo 2025, to be honest. Like, if it's holding really well, I'm also impressed with how well Solana is behaving. I have a bag, spot bag of Solana, and I recently rotated some BTC to Sol. I think if this is the first excuse me, this is the first stream, I'm bearish. If I think it's likely we are going to see it below 4k.
So if you are bearish, if what do you think about this guy in Hyperliquid that is changing billions of Bitcoin into ETH?
Well, I think, let me put it another way. I'm very short term. Long term, I'm bullish. But recently, let me show you maybe here. The open interest on ETH, as far as I remember, is hitting all time highs. Yeah. Wait a second. It's loading. Yeah, see, I think before we go higher, there need to be a flush. We already had a flush, but after 4K, under 4K, I think it's a very psychological level, and people would be afraid, and that's where they would just capitulate. That's my opinion. We'll see about that, obviously, but yeah,
Do you perhaps have the map of liquidations on ETH?
yeah, I can get you that.
Because I'm wondering if open interest is so big, then maybe where is the accumulation of the long or shorts?
Yeah, I think soon you will be able to very easily. use a product from Wu to check those things. It's called Starchild. Like, by the way, uh, where I can't find it, to be honest. It's usually on CoinGlass, but I don't know why I can't change it from BTC here. Okay, USDT. Yeah, see, like 4200 is heavily. It's a
Mm.
level to be liquidated. Let's see, maybe 3 days.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I see a scenario where we go to like even 3800, and that's where I would like to be. I sold my, like, let's say 25-30% of if exposure or at 4350. And I sold my hype position like 40%. On average, I think it's around 44.4. Um, yeah,
As you said, I could see if going there, especially if you look at NAV values of treasury companies compressing.
exactly.
Uh,
That's basically my thinking. Uh, as soon as NAV is negative, like, you can think of it like, okay, like I can buy ETH on discount, short on perps, and like basically arbitrage the value. You could, and probably most of the people, many people will try such a trade, and it will give us the final catalyst of short squeeze for a further rally and to hit new all-time highs.
I can't agree with you. You think people would long treasury costs below NAV value and short ETH as a trade?
Yeah, I think it.
I'm pretty certain not many people would do that. I don't think many people
People
would
were
do
doing
this.
that with Galaxy Trust on BTC, weren't they?
I'm pretty sure the Grayscale Bitcoin
Oh, great.
Trust
Sorry.
was trading at a huge discount for a long amount of
Yeah, it
time.
was like
So
30%. It was like 30%.
yeah, and people, yes, people were longing it, but I don't think they were doing the other part of short because you never know how long the discount.
Yeah,
It's not an arbitrage. It's like
yeah,
par
I mean,
trading.
okay, that's a valid point. I think basically as long as NAV is negative, if short, that's the play. Because it shows basically there is no demand from TradFi for ETH. And if there is no demand from TradFi to ETH, no one in crypto is bidding or has been bidding ETH. So as much as I love ETH and I want it to go up to 6 digits, or maybe not 6 digits, 5 digits. uh, I think we are going sub 4K. That's my opinion. That's why I sold overall like 23% of my whole crypto exposure, and I'm happy here with the rest. If it goes lower, well, I will rebuy. If it goes up, I'll buy a Porsche. That's my play.
One thing though, like you had a really good call with being bearish ETH. I think it was like yesterday or something, or like a few days ago. But then, like today, BTC is somehow so strong, considering even like S&P 500 and everything is dumping. I don't know. It's either like a fake strength right now, and we're gonna dump so much, and they are just like faking it or whatever, or there is something behind it. You know, like gold is rallying, silver is hitting all-time highs. Maybe I don't know. Maybe crypto is also there to just
I don't know.
continue up only.
I think there is a scenario where Bitcoin goes up, alt goes down, and I think it's possible. Basically, I can see a world where we retrace this inefficiency in the market on dominance, which is basically like up 0.5% Bitcoin dominance here. And this is the moment when alts bleed. If goes below 4K, and let's say Bitcoin goes to 108k or Bitcoin goes to 112k, but all ours goes like down 5 to 10%. I can see that. I'm not sure if the math does math here in terms of like if all odds go down 5%, the dominance go up 0.6%. But that's how I see it. I like the beat from treasuries into gold and BTC, but everything else is a mystery for me. Also, I think I will be bullish second part of September. That's another.
That's the part we agree on probably. I'm very bullish. End of the year and probably end of September as well, and this month in general. Like from here to the next 2 months, I think will be higher, and I'm ready to take any bet on that because we're getting the rate cuts. Like there will be literally like so much more liquidity. I have no fucking clue why we were traced that Jackson Hole pump. That's very bad that we did this, but still, like macro is there to support the price action. So maybe some short term dump, yes, but overall, I'm very very optimistic about end of the year and like crypto in the next 6 months in general. I don't know. What do you think, Javor?
So yeah, I think in general, like I'm this type of guy who is not betting on the direction and will just, buy more of the stuff that he holds. That's so. But I agree that September and other like summer months are usually like low on the volatile in terms of the TradFi guys that are going for vacations. So I'm not expecting any like significant moves during this period of time. But I think why we trace Jackson Hole was because like people thought that probably it's gonna be said that rates cut will be cutted, and their like tension was like realized, so they just realized their positions. So it seems pretty logical that they like dump the market because the simple information is not as hot as waiting for this kind of information. And I would just accumulate some stuff during September, and that's my goal, to like make a concrete bet on some place and just wait on my hands and don't try to milk the market. I would just buy the every dip I have.
Bullish till the end of the year. Don't want to offend you, Hundred. I think we discussed it in real life, but I started to adopt that sentence last week because it feels such a mid curve, such a mid curve. Like everyone says so. Bullish till end of the year, sell everything in December or November. Like if everyone thinks so in this space, it cannot be the true. It cannot be the like it cannot be the most likely scenario. So my initial thinking is first we dump on September a little bit, like as I said, under 4K. Let's say first 2 weeks. That's like I absolutely don't have anything to back it up, despite my speculation. So it's here. I'm just doing pure magic. But we dump first, then we start going up as because we expect the rates to be cut, and we'll pump until that event, and cutting rates will create the local top. Since then we will bleed, and 2026 extremely bullish. From my perspective, it just makes sense, such scenario, but I might be completely wrong. Like I don't have an edge in this market, but it just like those puzzles add up for me.
Maybe we can switch the topic to something that we can share opinion on. And I think the biggest launch of this month happened, which is like World Liberty Finance. Any thoughts on that, or maybe plays that you you did on that, or maybe something in future that you want to do in that. The one thing is certain is that all of the ICO participants are massive, like, multiplied day allocations. So yeah, kudos to everyone that get into this sale. Like, it was like 6 months ago, and like 10% only was filled, something like that, if I remember correct. But guys did like very nice X, and I want this to start the conversation. Is it like ICO season back, or what does it mean?
So maybe I will start with World Liberty because my opinion is pretty short. I have no clue. I haven't done any trade. I regret not buying the ICO. Really good trader, a guy who I respect, told me, "Hey, bro, like put 30K into it," and I was like, "Hell nah! Like it's a shit coin. It's not worth that." And I would be like 5x on that amount. And that time, 30K wasn't like a significant part of my folio. I could easily do that. So yeah, I regret that, but despite that, I didn't touch it. I think, Hunder, you've been trading it a bit, haven't you?
I mean, first of all, I think it's example of a mid curve that pay off massively because I think the initial sell participants made above 20x on launch, like 23 or something, which is insane in half a year in this market. So congrats to all those who didn't stop themselves from investing in the valuation was insane. I think it's a great short right now. I don't have a position opened. I try to stop myself from trading perps these days. I did open up a small short yesterday, which I closed in profit, but it was nothing like exceptional. So, but it felt free, like it's such an obvious short. It's just like right now I see it's at 0.23, so it's much lower. It's still an obvious short. If you can short it on 1x, you're basically probably safe. And the funding, I think funding is not even negative. It was like when I was shorting, it was like plus 1,000 something percent on hyper liquid. So I also got paid for in funding as well. It's an obvious it's an obvious zero, right? Like this thing is worth nothing. Like it's a fake AVE with no liquidity and no TVL.
To be honest with you, I would be scared of trading this shit. Like, imagine all of the Trump cable is ahead of you and know every information and can like easily long it or short it ahead of you because they probably have an inside info. I don't believe that they do not have it, and it's not gonna be the same as with Trump. Like, it felt like a free short, but it stopped somewhere, and when it stopped, like, it started to move into both directions.
I think Yavor, you're right. Actually, guys, don't trade this token because Yavor is pretty right. Right, like they can easily just manipulate it or whatever, right? But yeah, it's destined to go to zero. It's a pure extraction thing.
Yeah, all right. We agreed on that. Any on-chain plays? Do we want to check them? Like, on-chain is dead. Like, there is no volume on Solana currently.
I guess we can also discuss the plasma on the ICO things and like, I don't know, sell things or whatever.
Yeah,
What's the
that's what I
ticker?
wanted to
XPL.
XPL, but it's on the pre-market, so probably on Hyperliquid or
Hyperliquid or Bybit.
Wait a second, because I have some trades here. XPL, alrighty.
So there was a funny like situation on Thursday. Something like the guy started to buy it, like bidding it, and liquidated a lot of shorts that was hedging the probably ICO, and yeah, Hyperliquid did some trouble here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did-
kind of funny, kind of funny. I talked to a trader who's also really good, and he was like, well, when the jelly situation happened, there was like, no, you cannot manipulate the market. But as long as they didn't lose money, like, who cares? It's fine. It's P2P.
I
So,
guess
yeah,
important part to remember is it's pre-market, right? So as a Hyperliquid advocate, I would say Jelly was actually a lot different than this thing.
but you didn't tell him that. You are in the group, man.
What do you mean?
Like, never mind. The trader that I mentioned, like, he said it in a group. Yeah,
Because
I don't want to mention
yeah.
the exact name, but you know.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't recognize it first. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't think it's easy to judge, and I probably shouldn't. I guess the situation is very interesting. Funny thing is, they thought it's Justin Sun. Turned out it's another guy. And I'm actually turned out that I'm in a few Hyperliquid chats with this guy. And even like they recently thought he also invested in World Liberty Financial, and he said it's not him. It was just like his addresses are connected to it, to another guy who invested. But yeah, like XPL was crazy, and I wanted to touch on that. Are you like showing Javor's losses, or what's the case here with May?
No. I
I
was
just
going.
by plasma, I just wanted to touch on another point, which is very interesting. There are always so many opportunities here in this market. Like, look, like you could invest in a scam Trump protocol 6 months ago, and if you invested 100K, you would have like 2 mil right now, which is fucking crazy. You could have put. I personally managed to put like 220K into Plasma Vault. And don't say it was impossible to put money there. It was hard, yes, but I think Javor managed to get into the first cell. I managed to get into the second Vault, sorry, not cell, Vault field. So, and we don't have like any technical knowledge, or like we basically did it just manually. So, to anyone who says, "Oh, it was impossible to get into Vault or whatever," shut up. If you put enough time into it, you would manage to put the money into Plasma. That's my take. If you like really invest your time into it, right? But that's, I guess, how you should do things. And you know, out of these 220K, I got 13K allocation, which is in theory worth probably something like, is it like 13x, right? Am I counting this correctly, Javor? Because the sell was at 500 mil FDV, 0.5 billion, and right now it's 6.7 billion. So it's literally
Yeah.
like 13x.
Yeah,
So
it
this is like
depends.
almost 200K on your stables on super safe play within, was like 3 months or something like
And
that.
you
I mean,
have
of
to
course,
add
once token
that
launches, it's sorry.
also additional yield on top of your vault. So you have like 4 up to 6% with your stables that are
Yeah.
in vault.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care about that at this point, but yeah. And like, of course, like once the token launches, it's gonna dump. I don't think it can stay at 6 billion. That's fucking crazy. But it just goes to show, like, man, like what opportunities this market gives you. I mean, Plasma was just like such a no-brainer if you think about it. You just deposit your stables into the Vida Vault, which is very simple, smart contract risk. I don't think that's a big risk at all. And that's it. And you're getting, no-brainer allo at 500 mil, while Circle is trading, at some obsolete valuation higher than USDC supply. So it's obvious like stablecoin narrative is going to be great. And you could make that for the last like 4 or 3 or 5 months or whatever it took. So yeah, that's crazy to me, and that sting me that I'm losing my mind on leverage sometimes, where I could just go all in on those mid mid curve plays of just like investing into plasma vault and waiting for vaults to open up, put all my stable there, invest into it, and shut the fuck up and go touch grass, or invest into World Liberty Financial because it's Trump connected, and just leave some money there. And I don't know, maybe those people just got lucky, and those were like exceptions, or maybe you should just like, I don't know, go with the flow, go with the narrative. That's the take. Or just like have free liquidity and spot the good things from good people, from good teams. Maybe that's the lesson.
I think in retrospect, you can say regarding the World Liberty Finance, it can be forced narration because it's a president of the United States, so he can do whatever he wants, and he has like a distribution to push it. So retrospective, it was like a obvious play, yeah. And this regarding plasma, I think stablecoin narrative is pretty big right now, and even now I'm trying to figure out what should I do at the launch of XPL, because yeah, I think at the launch it will be overpriced, but after launch, after some days, like I believe in the long term plasma narrative, maybe not plasma but stablecoin narrative. I need to still get to do my research regarding other layers for stablecoins like ARC from Circle or Stable from Bitfinex, but I heavily believe that TradFi wants to get their allocation into this future. And if those guys in these projects can like sell themselves to the big guys from Wall Street, I believe they will want to get their allocation as well. But I would be very cautious on the listing to not like maybe if it's gonna be very undervalued, I mean like under 2 bill, I think it's gonna be still, but I would like very closely look into it, and if I want to pull the trigger here.
Yeah, it was so obvious in retrospect, and also like I would put more there, but I just didn't have liquidity that was available for like KYC. But Circle was trading at at its NAV, net asset value, right? Almost on par with USDC market cap, like 60 something billions. And everyone wants to have some exposure into Tether while you cannot get any. And Plasma is the closest you can get when it comes to Tether exposure, as a narrative wise, right? I'm not saying economically or whatever. And yeah, so it was just like bet on Paolo and Tether, and I think it's gonna keep going well. And as you said, yeah, I'm very also curious to see like how the network itself plays out. I mean, I think it should be public, but like Redstone is also like working with Plasma, and there are many DeFi applications going there, and I think that's something people don't realize yet. So far, they only realize pre-market price, votes, and whatever, but they probably don't see there's like literally the whole big ecosystem behind it, which could be very interesting and big chain.
Yeah, thank you. One last question before we go into on-chain stuff. There is a question from the community that is watching us about listing the top 5 projects on Hyper EVM that we are farming. Probably you, Kundert, would like to share a bit because you are a big guy in the Hyper EVM.
Actually, I'm doing a lot of stuff on Hyper EVM, so I can share plenty of things. Well, I'm looping my key hypes for kinetic coins. I have a wallet with like top 100 and a couple of other wallets. So I'm looping key hypes, and now you can choose different protocols to loop the key hypes in. And I'm looping on Hyperfy because there is emote where you can basically borrow at like, is it 97 or 98% loan to value? So it basically means you need to put up like 2% of collateral, and then you can borrow like 98% of value. So you just put your key hypes into the protocol, borrow hype, exchange the hype into key hype, and then again like put key hype, so kinetic hype into the protocol, and do it like 30 times, for example. I'm probably like for a moment I was like a few percentage of Hyperfy TVL due to this. And yeah, so I'm doing this because it gives me like kinetic points, but it also gives you the points of the protocol which you're farming. So in that example, it gives me Hyperfy points, but it also, I'm doing it on Hyperland as well. Loan to value there is much worse, so I have lower amounts there, but I believe Hyperland points will be worth more though. So that's another like thing to the equation. So I'm also farming kinetic on Hyperland by looping key hype on Hyperland. Of course, you need to account for borrowing price. So key hype is earning, let's say, 2% yield, while average 7-day Hyperfy borrowing was 3 point something. So effectively, you're like losing 1 or 2%. In Hyperland, you're probably even losing like 3%, but it's not much. I think the points are gonna be worth it because you're getting both points from kinetic and points from the protocols. There are people who burn their hype into Pendle to get the points, and I wouldn't do it. I think doing it manually yourself with getting both points of kinetic and like of protocols is just much more efficient. And you're burning like 2% of your hypes, yes, but you're doing it yearly. So of course looped as well. But that's I think it's, for now it's worth it. Maybe I'll unlock it once kinetic is even bigger. But I think it's worth it still for now. Then I'm doing Felix and Felix instances. So basically Felix is like a CDP, but it also operates the Morpho instance on Hyperliquid as well. And they also launched their stablecoin, 2 stablecoins actually. They have like plenty of products. The team is goated. We work with them. The most effective, Alpha, the most efficient way to farm Felix is to use the CDP product, actually, not the vanilla markets, but the CDP, the liquidity fork. It gives you the most points compared to what you need to deposit. So in Felix, I'm probably also like top 100 or something. If you want to have the laziest way to farm it, you just put whatever asset you want into Hyperbit. This is another one. I think it's the best if you just want to have really good farming experience without putting any time in. This is Hyperbit is perfect for this. I mean, I could go on because I spend a lot of time on Hyper EVM. So I'm not sure if like our listeners want to listen to this like half an hour rant, but I also have a lot of HyperSwap points. Don't farm it anymore. Liminal is super interesting product, and it's definitely like if you have some stables, put them into Liminal. It's probably gonna get unit airdrop as well, so it's a great product. And probably anything connected to unit. So I think you can just like I wouldn't even call it farming, like just move your activity to Hyperliquid, right? Just if you want to buy Solana, which I was about to do, he just goes and buys it spot on Hyperliquid because it's actually the cheapest way to buy it. Super efficient and very liquid. So there is no point in using anything else, and you can count on potential unit airdrop or whatever, which could be like insane additional EV.
We get it, 100. You are a big Hyper EVM believer. If our viewers want to maybe listen next time about your Hyperidium strategies, then please let us know in the comments section. Then maybe we'll prepare like a special episode with the Hyper-EVM, guide how to. Yeah, thanks for that. News from the like 1 minute ago, actually. Coinbase to begin offering traditional equities futures with their first product, being a Magnificent 7 and crypto equities index. So it's pretty interesting that Coinbase is developing into being not only crypto platform, but also like traditional platform. So bullish probably for Coinbase stock.
I think they announced it already like a while back, so it's just like actual implementation now.
I see. Sorry for that. Okay, we can move to the on-chain stuff. I prepared only one thing, but we can go to talk about Ray. So, yeah, what can I say here? I was wrong, and if there is some point that someone wants to buy, it's probably here because I capitulated and consolidate my base place into one asset only, which is Aerodrome. And I'm consolidated every spot holding into Aerodrome in terms of the risk capital. Regarding Ray, maybe I will come back when I'm gonna see like appetite for this kind of plays. But I'm generally very believer into base echo. I think a lot of coins that are there are holding well, and I think like investing into casino itself, which is like Aerodrome on the base network, is the best choice I can do to still have exposure and some beneficial like upside. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna bounce, it's probably here. Once it breaks through, like, yeah, it doesn't look good. Aero. Let me open that. Yeah. I'm curious about it. I don't have any exposure, but I might buy some soon. I'm quite risk aware now. Anything else on chain? I think we can touch on Gunder. There was a pump last week. Yesterday I sold the last chunk of it, but most of my exposure I sold here, and yesterday here I sold the last part, maybe even here. Yeah. What else? What else?
I have one thing.
Yeah.
I've sent you the chart on our private chat on StreamYard, but it's called cards, like a card.
Oh man, I can't check the.
So just type cards on the deck screener, like a credit
Alright.
card, just cards.
Yeah, I see.
Yes, this one. So that's a token from the RWA marketplace for Pokemon cards on Solana. And it's basically, I think it's not so advanced, but you can see on the chart that there's some like, momentum.
What is the market cap, man? 111 mil.
Yes, so hear me out. We had last, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, like on 1.5 week ago, that football.fan will revolutionize the collectible market, blah, 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 cards. And I think that it's a narrative we should look into, which is collectibles, but real world assets collectibles. That's why I'm constantly doing like a volume on Courtyard, which is like another Pokemon marketplace, not only Pokemon, but also for sports, like sport player cards. I don't know, but I'm using it only for Pokemon cards because I'm bullish long term for Pokemon cards. And I think it only shows that this kind of products found their product market fit. And they're making money on it. So yeah, there are a couple of projects that are in this nerd and don't have a token yet, but probably will. So one is Cartyard, the second one is Rip.fun and Fun and Football.fun as well. Probably you heard about it like a few weeks ago. And I think there will be only more and more like volume coming into this narrative and this sector. So I would look closely into all the new stuff that is happening in this area.
Super interesting, actually. Yeah, I don't have any ancient place. I'm de-risking. Since I'm bearish, I'm de-risking step by step. Yeah.
That's the moment our viewers should like get into the market finally.
Yes, probably yes. It's like, I mean, I don't remember what was like when my exposure was so little. Like I'm 23% in stables. That almost never happens. Last time it was right before the tariffs war, because I've seen stuff is I saw that stuff is going to shit, so I sold and rebought lower. That was basically the play. Uh, yeah, all right. If that's all, we have lovely 45 minutes of the stream. We can wrap it up here and see you next week. Or is there anything else we would like to cover?
Maybe some quick sum up. So you are de-risking, you are bearish. I'm just probably gonna DCA into my one conviction play, which is Hario. Hunders will just chill and wait for the occasion to lose his money on perps. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm bearish
Yes.
first week of September, maybe first 2 weeks. Then I think I will be bullish, but obviously everything changes so fast. So I changed my mind.
Everyone might have different guess, but one thing is certain: I will lose more money on purpose.
I'm so-
I think we can end the stream here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great week.